Every business wants good customer reviews. Every customer wants a good experience. So what happens when both sides click? Or in some cases, when they don't? From Yelp and Entrepreneur Media, this is Behind the Review.
Behind the review, dig deeper too. Behind the review, get all the news. Food, flowers, fixing, make business boom. Behind the review, dig deeper too.
I'm Emily Washkovic, Yelp's local business expert. Every episode, I pick one review on Yelp and talk to the entrepreneur and the reviewer about the story and business lessons behind their interactions. Let's see what's behind this week's review.
How I discovered Chrome Cycle was, I think it was a pretty unique scenario. Basically, my friends introduced me to spin class, and he's over there in OC, where I'm in LA. The first time I did spin class, it was in a different studio. I don't remember the studio's name, to be honest, but I enjoyed it. I liked it right after, like, oh, this is something that I can do on my own. Because not gonna lie, I did think it was intimidating going to your first spin class. When I signed up and did it on my own at first, I thought I was going to do it by myself. I was totally prepared. I was psyching myself up like, okay, I'm going to do my best in this class. But it was actually pretty funny because my friend who introduced me to OC, he saw that I was going to this Chrome Cycle studio and he surprised me. Basically, when I went to the front desk, I signed up and I said, my name, oh, it's for Kyle. They kind of accidentally revealed that my friend was already there. Like, oh, your friend's there. I'm like, my friend? And so when I went inside the studios where the bikes are, I saw that he was there. So it made the whole first time there at Chrome Cycle even, funner. I like the music, I like the instructor, I like the equipment, I like the whole vibe and the energy around it. I think that's basically my first experience there. I like the community. I like how the instructors, like not just Abby, but all the instructors, they take their time to get to know you and to know your name. And it's just pretty much a good welcome experience, to be honest.
Kyle M. had tried spin before, but hadn't found a class he loved enough to regularly attend until Chrome Cycle. He had a great first experience there, which led him to leave this review.
I'm a newbie when it comes to spin class and fitness in general. And even though the class I went to was hard and challenging, it was very rewarding right after. It was one of my instructor's birthday. I think her name was Abby. So they brought snacks at the end for everyone to try as well. Anyways, I like the staff because they were friendly and understanding that I was still starting out. The music and the lights bring a good energy during the class. And the class overall is amazing, and I would definitely go again.
A short and sweet review that covers everything someone going to an exercise class for the first time would want to know, from difficulty level to overall vibe. Ninette W., who owns Chrome Cycle, took a winding road to the fitness industry. Her personal connection to spin and her unorthodox journey to business ownership helped inspire Chrome Cycle's welcoming environment.
I worked in the corporate world for well over a decade, and I was really passionate about being a lawyer, but I did feel real pull against my health. And after years and years of practicing law in a really intense litigation environment where you often had to just look your own. Sometimes I didn't get to eat lunch, and that was very normal, and overlook your own eating and sleeping and wellness routines. They would just go out the window when you got really busy on a court schedule. I felt my health sort of deteriorate over time. I was increasingly more stressed out. It took, honestly, years to undo the stress that built up over that time. And towards the end of my legal career, I really knew I needed a change, just a change to be a happier, healthier person. I did look a little bit within my industry, within my field. I tried to have a more kind of lifestyle approach, but just the nature of litigation doesn't lend too much to being able to control your own schedule. And I knew it was time for me to take control of my schedule, my health, my well-being. The one thing that always kept me grounded and sane and feeling anywhere near like a human was that I would try to make regular time weekly for my spin classes. And those spin classes were it was my wellness. It was the way I tried to stay healthy and de-stress when I was in a really stressful situation. So I fell in love with spin. I have been indoor cycling for over 20 years. It's my other passion, and it just very organically became my second career and opening a business where I wanted to give back to my community, that stress relief and that motivation to stay healthy and well while you are in an intense and stressful work environment. That was my goal, and here I am.
Spin kept Ninette healthy during a stressful time in her life, so it makes sense that she puts her all into providing an amazing experience for the members of Chrome Cycle today. She made a drastic career change, but notably, she had a pre-existing passion for her new industry and plenty of experience with it. Of course, in the fitness industry, a business is going to need to address an initial learning curve with its customers.
I'm going to say it from my point of view, a newbie's point of view, because I do remember how I felt back then. Basically, I'm not going to lie, it is going to be intimidating because there are going to be people who look like they've been there and who've been doing it forever. I think even the first day, one of the people on the front desk told me, I asked for a tip, like, it's my first time. They would tell me, just do as much as you can and just have fun doing it. But I guess when it actually did happen, I had nothing to expect. I didn't look up any YouTube videos. I just thought it was going to be a normal biking class. But I thought the vibe was really good. I didn't expect the music. I didn't expect the lights. Now that I've been doing it, I do know it depends on the instructor itself, like what music you hear. But honestly, it felt like more like a concert or like even like a rave type of vibe just because of the lights. But I do like that it also incorporates some community aspect where usually they tell you to stay on beat. They usually do it, try to match, everyone else in the room or match instructor. So I guess that's the experience that you should look forward to when you first do it. Yeah, it might be intimidating, but overall, the music, the liveliness of the room, the lights, everything about it just makes it a pretty enjoyable experience.
I remember my first spin class too. There was so much happening, and the motions you have to do feel so weird if you haven't done them before. But then, if you go enough, you can really start getting into it, closing your eyes and moving to the beat during class. But in the beginning, it feels very counterintuitive, even for avid cyclists. The staff at Chrome Cycle is ready for this and meets their customers where they're at.
So the one thing that I always tell, especially people who ride a bike outside or cyclists or someone who's never been into an indoor cycle class, is really forget everything you know about a bicycle. You're not riding a bicycle. Bicycle is meant to move ergonomically, and you're not going to do any of that. You're going to get on this contraption that looks like a bicycle, but it stands still, and you're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to sweat it out. You're basically going to be dancing on a bike. And at Chrome, our emphasis is interval training. So it's really focused on sprints and resistance sprints. So we're working, you go uphill, you go downhill. You simulate going uphill and downhill, obviously. So you're going to get on this contraption that looks like a bike, and there's a knob on the bike that allows you to control your resistance so that you can simulate being on a flat road or being on a hill. And then, of course, we always set up our customers so that they understand like I said, you get on a bike and it's very natural, right? When you get on a bicycle outside, it's very natural. It's very clear what you're supposed to do. With all the fun moves that have been introduced into indoor cycling, it's not natural at all. Your body doesn't really want to do, like, what do you mean? Like, oh, now I have to flex my abdomen too. I have to engage my core while I'm moving my legs really fast. So it takes a little bit of getting used to, but we, like I said, always try to set everybody up with the right tools. And then you have these shoes and this is very similar to cycling outside. You do have shoes that clip into the bike to keep you really securely on your bike. And there are, in our studio, there are 3 rows of bikes, all facing the same way. The instructor is up, being your ultimate example and your guide for your class. And you'll follow along with what the instructor does. And the instructors are really good at providing an experience where you're driven and motivated by their guidance, the music that they choose to go along with that guidance, and the lighting effects. If you're in a really deep, gritty hill, we want those lights turned down and we want you really focused and working. If we're up and doing some fun, a recovery choreo where you want to kind of see that you're bouncing along with everybody else and you're all on the right leg doing the same thing, that's when the lights come up and enhance the ride.
To keep customers coming back, there's more to it than just the nitty-gritty of the classes. You can find a good workout all over the place, and that's true for most businesses. You'll have competitors who do pretty much exactly what you do. For Kyle M., what set Chrome Cycle apart was the culture, and that's very intentional on the business side.
I can very easily define the Chrome culture. We are first and foremost all about community, making people feel welcomed, and more than welcomed, safe. You're vulnerable coming into a new experience and doing something that you look around and everybody knows what they're doing. And you're like, oh my God, I don't even know how to put these shoes on. So first and foremost, we're about community, making our community feel safe, welcomed, and part of this experience. Whether it's your first class or your 1,000th class, it really doesn't matter. We try really hard to impart to our customers, we don't care what you do in there. We care that you move your body in a way that gives you the workout that you need today. So we really want to make sure that people understand that we're going to try to give them the safest instruction and tools and the best way to use those. Our classes they're difficult. They're not easy spin classes. They are difficult classes, and they are designed to be a goal, whether you're a beginner or an advanced rider. There's always something in there. There are just different levels of what you can do within the class. And it's designed that way so that we do keep you coming back and engaged and interested. If you can master it and tap out, then why would you keep coming back to Chrome, right? So we always want to make sure that we challenge ourselves, our riders, to have something to strive for every class. So a beginner who walks in, someone like Kyle, who's like, I don't even know how to set up my bike yet. We want to make sure that we keep giving them those tools so that 6, 7 classes in, he's now setting up his own bike and he's moved from the extreme side to a little bit over to kind of be more ingrained in the community of the class. And that happens really naturally when we pay attention to our people. So our instructors the right people find the right places, right? Our people also are very motivational and very intentional with the way that they speak to their classes. So depending on how many advanced riders or just how many beginner riders, they will tailor their instructions to those people and say, okay, you know what, Sarah, you ride every day, get your ass up and out of that saddle. You're not slacking today, right? At giving motivation in a way to someone who's advanced that would be really, really, really scary and not motivational at all to someone who's in their beginning classes. And the instruction in the same class can be, Sarah, get your ass up and sprint right now. I want you in this sprint. Beginner riders, you'll get there, keep your butt in the saddle and push as hard as you can. A differentiation to show that we recognize there are just a variety of levels of ability in the room, and we want to give motivation. We don't want to be making you feel like we're scolding you or making you feel like, oh, you'll get there one day. You're just not good enough yet. No, it's about building that ability to get there through positive reinforcement.
Kyle M. quickly went from being a Chrome Cycle first-timer to a regular. He makes room in his busy schedule to go and complete really challenging classes. A big motivator for him is being personally recognized and acknowledged by the Chrome Cycle staff.
In general, when I first started doing spin, it was kind of tiring, it was intimidating. But one of my friends, he's the person that spin a lot in every studio, mainly in the OC. So we did it for fun in the weekends. And ever since I started liking spin, I started thinking like, oh, the more I do it, the more I get better at doing it. Not only that, like I do a good workout, I feel good right after. And I think that's for spin overall. One of the reasons why I keep coming back to Chrome Cycle is honestly just the community aspect there, because you can say that, oh, other studios have lights and other studios have good music as well and same equipment, same vibes. I made friends with one of the instructors there. It's actually not Abby. Her name is actually Julia. She used to go to my college. I think we just missed each other by like 1 or 2 years, but she's very friendly. She makes sure that I had a good time every time I sign up for a class. And that's why I keep coming back.
It's really meaningful to Kyle to be addressed by name, and he's definitely not alone in that. A customer appreciates being noticed, and a little goes a long way. So how does Chrome Cycle do it? By prioritizing it and taking some shortcuts when they need to.
First of all, right, Kyle doesn't know what we have right behind the counter. So he doesn't know how much cheating we do, right? And that's great. I love that his experience is like, wow, I can't believe they remember our name. We can see their name. We can see what bike they're sitting on. We can see that it's their first time taking a class with us. So we try to also make every person who walks in, not only do they walk in and we ask their name, but we tell them our names. Like, hey, Kyle, it's great to meet you. I'm Ninette. I'm going to be setting you up on your bike today. So I think with Kyle, and I remember I was there that morning, the first morning he came in, and I was the one who messed up. So I was there because I was coming in for class. I don't even think I was supposed to be working, but it's my studio. So of course I walk in, I work, right? I forgot his friend's name, but his friend had gotten there early. And he said, hey, I'm here to surprise my friend Kyle. Can you put us on two bikes next to each other? And his friend, I want to say his name was Justin. Let's call him Justin for the sake of. So Justin picks the bikes that they're going to sit on, and he goes into the room so that he gets ready and set up, and he's in the room like 10 minutes before class starts. Kyle comes in and he was like, oh, can I have a bike in the back? And we're like, oh, and I walk up and was like, oh, Kyle, your buddy's already he picked the bikes for you. And he was like, my buddy. So we knew Kyle's name before he walked in because his friend, it was a whole setup that and KK, my friend Des, was like, huh, it was a surprise. And I was like, oops, well, you don't know which friend, like just, and it was funny and cute and we all laughed. And then we did take Kyle inside to set up. And I believe he got there. I think he did get there just like, it was pretty close to when class was starting. So we're kind of, let's get you in there and get you set up as quickly as we can. Also after class, we hung around and Kyle and his friend also stayed. And that does make an impression on us too, because they stayed for a little while and we got to chat with them. And then that's really when you learn people's names. And I'm not going to pretend like, oh, the next time he came in, I saw the name Kyle on the roster, I was like, oh, I know Kyle. No, it took the recognition of seeing his name on the roster with his face and being like, oh yeah. And that happens to us 2-3 times. And then it gets to a point where we not only remember their names, but we also have their shoes ready because we remember their shoe sizes.
The Chrome Cycle team has systems in place to assist them in remembering names and experience levels of their rider. By doing that, they give themselves the space to learn customers' names and create deeper relationships naturally with time. If there are tools you can turn to in order to build camaraderie with your customers, those tend to be worth it, and the results are noticeable. The studio reaches out to customers the same day of a class to continue the community building, get some feedback, and reinforce the good impression. Some business owners may be worried about spamming customers, but people have busy lives and often need the reminder of their positive experience. It may prompt them to sign up for another class or follow your business on social media.
Well, first of all, this is pretty new in the last maybe 6 months. We started using a platform that I love. It's like an add-on platform that's not like a social media. It helps us reach out to our customers after class. So instructors will send emails and messages, and everything is encrypted so that my instructors can send out an email and it's coming from Chrome Cycle Studio or Julia at Chrome Cycle Studio without having to share her personal email. And when customers reply, it's not like, oh, now this instructor is going to be harassing you and has all your personal info. They reply, it's encrypted. So they feel safe and comfortable replying too, if they don't want us to have their personal details. And one thing that we do at Chrome, I think maybe a little bit more unique, is that we do try to make sure that there's an announcement every class. Follow us on Chrome, follow me personally. Let's keep in touch. The instructors that are not so active on social media, at least they're saying, oh, follow Chrome Cycle. We'll follow you back. We want to be engaged. And a lot of times I will post a story and I'll tag 5 or 6 people in class just because I know that they're taking the class and I know their handles, and whoever I find, I tag so that they can see it reposted if they like. They don't need to, but they like, hey, we see you. We see you working in that class. And then that gives them that sense of also the community extends, not just for that hour that you're in class, but all week long.
Ninette has invested her own limited time on Chrome Cycle's social media accounts, and it's been important for her to prioritize them because they keep customers coming back.
I do follow them on social. I think that's why I go to Chrome Cycle. I've been following them on Instagram ever since I went, right? I have a good time. I think my favorite instructor, and one of the emails, she always leaves her socials and stuff, your Instagram. I think that's when I found out, I think I clicked on Instagram and I found out we have a lot of mutuals together. And that's how I found out she went to UCI, which is the college that I went to. And again, yeah. And so that's how I got to know her a little bit more, and she got to know me a little bit more. But yes, I do follow the Chrome Cycle Instagram. They also follow me back. I don't know how, I don't know why, but yeah, I guess they do remember me, because sometimes I think only the instructors that I go to remember me. Or I always think how do they have the memory to remember me? Because there's a lot of other people. But I guess that's why I feel the community aspect of it, right? Because, not only are the instructors nice, I mean, the fact that the Instagram follow me means I'm part of the community, right? So that's why I really enjoy it.
Building a community doesn't have to feel daunting or unattainable. Sometimes something as simple as an Instagram follow can provide a customer with a sense of belonging and loyalty. And when a customer goes to review your business, all those little touches will come into play. Controlling what you can is important because sometimes the things you can't control are brought into reviews.
So the reviews are scary a lot of time. I think it's easy for a person, just a consumer, especially younger people who are very opinionated and kind of don't necessarily have the ability to look at like the big picture of things. We've definitely had some reviews. It hurts my heart a little bit because it's like something so out of my control. We're in this kind of neighborhoody building and people being like, oh, it's great, there's free parking, but the building needs work or it's a little dilapidated.
Ninette knows what she should focus on. She has to take some negative reviews with a grain of salt and trust that Yelp users are also seeing the amazing 5-star reviews that comment on Chrome Cycle's community. And she makes it a point to reply to feedback.
So sorry you had that experience, Katie. I'll message you with further, whatever. And I will say, hey, I'm the business owner. I'm really sorry you felt whatever it was, ignored or you hurt your finger. I will reply and ask people like, how can I make this right? How can I make this better? And, when I will stop replying is when people are like, you just want me to change my review. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I do, but that's not why that's not why I'm writing. And I also do want to make sure that I try to erase that bad taste in your mouth. So I can't make the experience you had better, but I do want to see what I can do to make can I get you back in the door? Can I make your next experience better? So it's important to me to correct records, acknowledge praise. People take time to write a review. There are a ton of times where I'm like, I should write a review. I had a great experience. And then do I? No, because I couldn't make that 5 minutes. And that's why I want to acknowledge and really recognize the people that do, because if they leave a positive review, it's because they want other people in their community to have this great experience at this place that they had a great experience. And that is altruistic. So I do want to acknowledge that.
And that concludes our episode. Be sure to subscribe so you get new episodes every Thursday. I hope you enjoyed it and were able to take a thing or two away to implement in your own life. Whether it's a new idea that you can bring back to your business or a fresh perspective on how to be a positive influence as a consumer, we share these stories to inspire and create more meaningful connections in your local community. For more information about today's business or to connect with me, check out the show notes.
Behind the review, dig deeper too. Behind the review, get all the news. Food for hours fixing, make business boom. Behind the review, dig deeper too.
This episode featured a conversation with Ninette, the owner of Chrome Cycle Studio, and Kyle, a reviewer living in LA. Special thanks to Meredith Danko, who helped write this episode. To learn more about the story, check out the blog post. And don't forget to subscribe so you get an alert on Thursdays when we drop a new episode. To claim your own Yelp business page and start engaging with consumers, visit business.yelp.com. Our theme song is performed by Ali Schwartz and produced by Robbie G of Messerol Sound. The show was produced and edited by Entrepreneur Media.